All right, so I came up with some things I wanted to go over as a kind of a final wrap up. So today was our last class. So everyone did a really nice job on their presentations. So again, I will get that graded by the end of the week once I listen to everything and go through and read through the reflections and check, finish checking citations and stuff like that. So what is next? You'll have one more CLG. It's due on the 18th. And then I will be pretty much spending most of my time going through, reading through the rest of everything, making sure that everything is there, commenting and giving feedback and stuff like that. So that way, where you stand as you go into exam 3. Today was your last quiz, so I should be able to release those as well. And just a reminder, clinical evaluations are due on 4/25. So I posted it for 4/25 because your last clinical is for 4/23. And then that gives you a little bit of time to write everything up. And then what you're going to do is you're going to submit it into the Dropbox in your clinical shell. So it's not going to be in the class shell, but in the clinical shell, and you'll upload it into your clinical shell. So if you're a Friday day clinical, you guys are all Friday day clinical, but the PMs, if they're listening, when they're listening to this, it'll be in the PM clinical shell. Live ATI. So everyone who is graduating in May or August should have registered for their live ATI. So make sure that you follow the directions that Laura Walker had given you in her multiple emails. I know she's very communicative, so make sure you follow that up, and you will have a live ATI on 4/26, 4/27, and 4/28. And then I broke down your ATI. So I told everyone I would just reiterate everything, and everything that I'm going over is also in your syllabus and in your reading outline. So maternal newborn practice A, you must score a level 2. So that's a 66.7% or above. I do have all the cut scores there. This is just taken right out of my syllabus. And that is due by 4/28 at 11:59. Make sure that you do that prior to that, or you don't get the points that are given to that in the rubric. So no exceptions to that. So make sure that is posted and uploaded, and I'll show you where everything is. And then 4/29, you're going to take your proctored maternal newborn. So for your group, for me, for days will be from 10 to 11. Obviously, if you need more time, if you get extended time, it'll be there for you. So don't be afraid that, especially if you're taking the peds from 9 to 10 and you're like, oh my gosh, there's absolutely no time, no way I'm going to be able to finish that and start. Don't worry. I'm going to be online. I'm going to be watching. I know who has extended time. So I'll just be, once I see you log in, I will open it up for you. So, and if you need a breather, even if you don't have extended time and you just need a breather in between, you just want to, get a drink, get your thoughts together, that's fine. I don't want you to be stressing, thinking you need to be right back on. So don't stress about that. ATI practice B, that will be opened after you take your proctored. So it's not open now. A lot of students are asking me, where is it? And it's a remediation. So you can't remediate something you haven't done yet. So it's a remediation based on your proctored maternal newborn. So once everyone takes the proctored maternal newborn on the 29th, I will open up the practice B. And then that's going to be due. Be careful, because usually things are due Sunday night. So just make sure you remember this is due Saturday night. So Saturday, May 1st by 11:59. And again, failure to submit that will result in no points in that section of the rubric. And again, no exceptions to that. Nutrition ATI practice A, all you need to do is practice A, level 2 or above, and that is due on 4/28. And you want to go with the most recent. I never put the dates because ATI may update ones. You always go with the most recent. If the most recent is 2016, you go with 2016. If the most recent is 2019, you go with 2019. And let me just bring up the rubrics again so we can just refresh our memories on those. I'll just bring it up through your course. Okay, so here's everything in ATI. There's your cut scores if you need them. And I thought I had the rubric in here. Okay, the rubric is probably in it's in your syllabus. I know that. I wasn't sure if I put it in there as well. Bear with me here. Let me go through this. There we go. All right. Okay, so here is the rubric. So what you're going to do if you do your practice A, you get the 20 points. If the practice A is not done and submitted prior to the time that it's due, you forfeit those 20 points. So really make sure I would seriously do it as soon as possible. Maybe sit down this afternoon and do it because we're going to finish up a little bit early. So make sure your practice A is done. That gives you the 20 points. And then the next part of the rubric depends on the level that you get. So let's just say you get a level 3, then you get 75 points for completing the proctored maternal newborn with a 75. So then that 75 plus the 20 is 95 points. And then you still have to do the practice B, the remediate. We don't have to. I mean, it's optional, but I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that. And then doing the practice B, the remediation practice B, and submitting that by the due date gives you the additional 5 points. Now, if you got a level 3, you do need to get 100%. You do need to get the level 3 in your remediation. And then that'll give you 100 points, which will be your ATI grade. And then I'm going to talk about capstone as well. Then you have, say you got a level 1. If you got a level 1, you get the 20 points if you submitted practice A on time. And then you get 48 points for getting level 1. So that's your 68 points. And then when you do your practice B, you get the additional 10 points, which would be a 78%. So that's the rubric that I'm talking about when I talk about the rubric. So let me minimize that a second. I can pause here. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes. Actually, I'm not going to pause only because that way maybe somebody else might have it. So go ahead.
Okay, so for the practice test A's and the remediation, are we able to retake those if we don't like our score?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
As long as you do it by the due date.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Oh, you are welcome. That's a great question. Anybody else have any other questions?
Professor Gannon, I actually have a question as well.
Yes.
This doesn't relate to the practice exams, but do you know, is the comp test graded the same way, like on ATI, the comp predictor test?
That I don't know.
Okay.
As far as your overall capstone grades, is that what you're
just wondering if it was based off like the level 3, 2, or 1?
That I don't know. I think that's actually out of 100.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm not reach out to Laura Walker if you're I'm not 100% sure because Laura Walker and Barb Morrison are ATI champions, so they went and got further training for managing that. So reach out to them, but I think it's out of 100, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions so far on the ATI rubric for maternal newborn?
Yes. What did the girl say before? Can you retake the practice A?
Yes, you can.
Oh, so we can get a better score?
Yes, but just make sure if you're going to retake it. Also, I forgot to tell you this, Bree. When you retake it, remember there's a lockout time. I'm glad you brought that up. So there's a lockout time for you to retake it. So if you're going to do this, don't wait until the last minute. Like say you wait until 11 o'clock at night to do this on the night that it's due at 11:59. The retake, I think, has a 3-hour window. So honestly, if you're going to wait until the night before, I would do it around 7 o'clock at night. That way you can take it. And then if you don't get that score, you still have time to take it a second time. So you can take it more than once, but remember there's a time frame that you have to, it locks it out. And that's so that the students can go back and revisit what they didn't do well. So I would definitely plan ahead and not wait until the last minute. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And there was another question.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask with the nutrition practice A, are we just taking a practice A, or is there gonna be a proctored exam for nutrition as well?
There is no proctored exam for nutrition. All you're doing is nutrition practice A and submitting it. That's it.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay. All right, let me go on. So final exam, your final exam for the whole, all the cohorts is May 5th from 8:30 to 10:30. And for anyone who is online, or the PMs would be from 15:30 to 17:30. If you have accommodations in place, the accommodations continue through your final exam. There won't be a study guide because I gave the study guide for exams 1 through 3, which you will have the one for 3 as well. I didn't post that yet, but you will be receiving that. So I don't give an exam study guide for the final because you have everything that I was asking you. So your final exam will only cover what was in exams 1 through 3. It would not, anything else would not be covered. And your final exam is cumulative. So it is worth 30% of your grade. So it's everything that you've had, and it is 30% of your grade. I don't do a final exam review unless a student didn't pass the course. So if a student didn't pass the course overall, I will meet with the student, and I also will meet with the student with Director Van Buren as well. So I don't do an individual exam review. If you pass the course, I don't do an individual exam review because of academic and test integrity issues. So I like to put that out so everyone's aware. If anyone really wants to know, I can talk content, but I won't bring up individual test questions. And then attendance and professionalism grade, that'll be posted. And that is based on your clinical and class attendance and your professionalism while you were in Zoom or in clinical. So I take a look at the sign-in sheets. I take a look at any missed clinical, and any feedback from clinical instructors if something is awry during clinical. And that is how I base the professionalism grade, and that'll be posted as well.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said in the previous slide that you were going to put all the grades in so that we can see where we're standing. Are you also putting in there like a final tab that we could do like if grade? Like we could put a grade and see, like, I don't know how to explain it.
I know what you're saying. What you can do, you can actually calculate that out yourself because everything is worth a percentage. So if you go back to my syllabus and how much everything is weighted, you can calculate that out. So if you want to like pre-figure out, well, if I got a 95 on my presentation, and that's 5% of your grade, then times that by 0.05, and that would give you 4.75 points. So you can kind of like do it that way. So what I'll have everything that you have done up until this weekend. So I'll post all of that. And then anything after that, you can like say, you can kind of like come up with an idea of what you need, if that makes sense. So everything is a point system. So if you look back, like exam 1, 2, and 3 are 15% of your grade. So you would take, like, say you got a 90, I'm just gonna make it a nice, easy thing. So a 90 times 0.15. So if you got a 90 on exam 1, it would be worth 13.5 points. And then you would go through all of your things and then you can add it up that way. And then by the time you're said and done, that would be your final grade. Would that help?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, capstone. So this is new. I'm going to pull up my screen. I'll pull up your Canvas module real quick. All right. So what I decided to do, and this is really why I wanted to go over this with everyone, and this will be recorded and I'll post this recording for you as well. So if you come in here into ATI, I have 3 new boxes down here. I have capstone points drop box, capstone points alternative, and ATI capstone points awarded. If you didn't do capstone, this won't pertain to you. But if you do capstone, I want you to be able to use these points. So while you were doing capstone, you worked really hard to get your points, and I want you to be rewarded for that. So is this the one I want to show first? Perfect. This is what I want to show first. So I got this off of Professor Walker. She's doing this for leadership. So I basically used the same exact thing that she's doing for leadership, and I put in maternal newborn. So hopefully I remembered to pull out all leadership and only put maternal newborn in here. So I want to go over this with you. This is only for students that participated in the 7-week ATI capstone. And so if you did not, you can just kind of hang tight, but you will be getting the same thing over the summer. So I put in your ADN 205 syllabus that I was going to be using capstone points towards your ATI grade, but I didn't specify how I was going to do it yet. So I decided to use this plan A, plan B method. So here's how it'll go. So I decided to make your capstone 5% as an option, 5% of your grade, and then your maternal newborn 5% of your grade to combine for a 10%. So if you received your maximum of 230 points for your participation in the capstone, then you would divide that 230 by itself, which would come out to 100%. So then you would get 5% of that 100% would be your grade. So come down to the second part here. After you take your proctored ATI maternal newborn exam, you will be able to calculate your awarded points. So just say, for example, you got a level 1, which would give you a 78%, which is a C+. So say you got a level 1 in your maternal newborn and you got 100% in your capstone. Well, then I'm going to take your capstone grade, which is 100, plus your ATI grade, which is a 78, and then you would divide that by 2, and then your ATI grade will now be an 89 versus a 78. So that's what I'm using for, that's one thing that I can do. And as you can see, it's going to significantly increase your grade. So, before that, you would only have a 78. So will, increase your grade. But what if you didn't do really well in your capstone? What if your grade was a little bit lower in capstone? Maybe you didn't work on it for the first couple of weeks and you have a lower grade than the 100%. So then I'm going to give you what's called a plan B. So if you did not obtain, and I'm not going to read all of this word to word, you can certainly read this by on your own word to word. I'm just going to highlight some things. So suppose you didn't get the full points that you wanted to get, then I'm going to offer a plan B instead of that 5% or 5%, because otherwise that could fail you. And my goal is not to fail you. My goal is to reward you. So for plan B, you can use those ATI as points. So I came down here and gave you a rubric here for points. So now you can only use it for an exam that you passed. You can't use it for a failing exam. So if you got a 77 or below on an exam, you can't add the ATI points and get a passing score. But you can take an exam that you got a 78 and add the points to it. So if you look here at this little rubric here, if you got the full 230 points, maybe you want to, and say you got a level 3. So you already got a level 3 in maternal newborn. So you're already getting the 100 points if you do that remediation. So that would be a moot point for you. Or you got a level 2, which will give you a 94. But say you got a 78 in an exam, and a 78 plus 5 would give you an 83 in the exam. And that might be a lot nicer, right? So if you got the full points, you can add 5 points to any of your exams, 1, 2, or 3. If you got between 189 and 229, then you can add 3 points to any passing exam. And if you got 180 to 188, then you can add 1 point to any exam. If you got 179 or less, then no points will be given. So there won't be a penalty for that. And let me back up here. And first of all, any questions? I didn't read that whole thing. So I would definitely read through that whole entire thing, and certainly email me. And I think I put it at the bottom here to email me if you have any questions after you read through that whole thing. It does not have to be counted towards your grade. You can say, you know what, my ATI, or I'm sorry, my capstone was low, or, you know, my points are fine. I'm fine with that. So that's just, it's an optional thing. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Darn it. All right, hold on 1 second. While I'm pulling that back up, any questions from what I just said? Or you need time to kind of read it and process it? All right, so let's go back here. All right, so what I need you to do, and this can be right up until you take your ATI. What I need you to do is let me know how you want those points to be given. So I have here an ATI capstone points awarded PDF. And what I need you to do, I need you to upload this for me so I know how you want that, because there's 68 of you. I don't want emails sent to me because it'll just be too insane, me trying to go through emails. So in here, I'll open, I had this made in that you could write right in it. So you'd go in here, put your name in here, your L number, and tell me what cohort you are. Tell me what class you are. Obviously, if you're submitting it to me, it's ADN 205. And tell me that please award X points to the assignment, or you can type in that you want to use as your 5%. So say you're not sure, then you can just write 5% of grade instead. And then just put your name and date, and then save that. And let's go back. Hold on 1 second. And then save that. And I'm going to show you where I want you to put that. And hopefully everything works. I created a Dropbox that you'll put that in. So then you just upload that into that Dropbox for your capstone points. Can you just, can everybody just put your name in chat that everybody that's doing that kind of understands that whole process? Just throw your name in there for me. Megan, yes, it would be due after the ATI test because you wouldn't know how you want those points distributed otherwise. So you would take your...
Just making sure.
Yeah, because otherwise you wouldn't know, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly.
Okay, so everybody is good with that. All right, perfect. Let me go back to that PowerPoint. I don't know how how I got out of that. I hit the back arrow and it took me out of everything. Where was I at here? Okay, so that was, okay. The next thing, clinical. I've been getting a lot of emails about clinical. So you have 2 more clinicals left. You have this coming Friday and the 23rd. PM will have the 19th and the 24th. I do have the most recent clinical schedule posted. I'm going to just ask you that. Just send me an individual email if you're still not sure where you're going on 4/16 or 4/23. There is a group coming with us for sim on 4/23. So if you're not sure where you're going, just send me an individual email, because I think at this point, I think everybody knows where they're going, but just reach out and you know, in an email for me, and that's fine. And then if you have a makeup scheduled, I had sent you an email. If you did not respond that you got the email for makeup, please let me know. If you did, you know, you don't have to worry about it. And your makeup, your clinical makeup is virtual. It's I had a couple of students asking me that. So it is virtual if you have a makeup. Any questions on clinical? Okay. I do want to make an announcement. There is a virtual job fair. I sent everyone an email. I thought it was posted on the Ultra IC website. I can't find it anywhere. So I'm like, oh, it was posted. So anyway, I shared an email with you guys. It's today from 3 to 5. It is virtual. You do have to have an Ultra IC Cougar Claw account, but I sent you all the information. They will have over 25 employers, and they wanted me to share that with everyone. So that is today from 3 to 5.
It says Thursday.
Or Thursday. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm making it Thursday already. It's only Tuesday. All right. Any questions on everything I went over?
The job fair isn't mandatory, is it?
Oh gosh, no.
Okay,
And many of you probably already have jobs, so no, it's not mandatory.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? All right, I'm going to stop recording.